Shocking news has just rocked the Duggar family, specifically John and Abbie Duggar. For a family already known for scandal, controversy, and public scrutiny, this latest revelation feels especially humiliating, and it has left fans and critics alike stunned. What was once a picture-perfect image of love and family values has now been overshadowed by heartbreak, betrayal, and public embarrassment. The Duggar name has long carried both fame and infamy. From their years on reality TV to the countless headlines about their personal lives, the family has weathered many storms. But John and Abbie, often seen as one of the more stable and quieter Duggar couples, have now been thrust into the spotlight in a way they never expected. John, one of Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar's many children, built a reputation as a responsible son, a pilot, and a family man. Abbie, a nurse, brought a fresh presence to the Duggar world when she married John, quickly becoming a fan favorite for her warmth and relatability. Together, they carved out their own identity, different from some of John's siblings, who found themselves at the center of endless drama. But now, all of that has changed. The shocking news surrounding John and Abbie has not only shaken their carefully built image, but has also left the Duggar family reeling. This isn't just another tabloid headline. It's a humiliation that strikes at the very heart of what the Duggars claim to represent. The breaking news that has now engulfed John and Abbie Duggar's lives is nothing short of humiliating, not just for them personally, but for the entire Duggar name. What began as whispers quickly snowballed into a public spectacle, one that has fans, critics, and even family followers talking nonstop. For years, John and Abbie had been seen as one of the more stable couples in the Duggar family, quiet, reserved, and dedicated to their roles as parents and partners. But this latest revelation shattered that carefully built image, exposing cracks that few could have imagined. The public reaction has been swift and brutal. Social media lit up within hours of the news breaking, with thousands weighing in. Some expressed shock and disappointment, unable to reconcile the Duggar family's values with the reality of what has surfaced. Others, however, admitted they weren't surprised at all, pointing to the long history of Duggar controversies and scandals that have tarnished the family's once wholesome reputation. What stings most for John and Abbie is not just the headlines themselves, but the way the public is dissecting every move, every photo, and every post they make, turning their private pain into a public debate. For Abbie, the humiliation cuts even deeper. As a wife and mother, she has always tried to shield her children from the chaos that surrounds the Duggar name. But the glare of the public eye makes that nearly impossible. Sources close to the family reveal that Abbie has been struggling emotionally, torn between her loyalty to John and the heavy weight of judgment being cast upon them. She is said to feel isolated, vulnerable, and deeply conflicted, wanting to maintain a strong front for her children, but at the same time quietly breaking under the pressure of it all. Meanwhile, John faces a challenge of his own. As one of the Duggar sons, his identity has always been tied to the family's reputation, a reputation now stained by repeated scandals. But this time, the spotlight is directly on him. He is caught in a storm where he must balance his responsibility as a husband and father with the legacy of the Duggar name, all while trying to maintain his own integrity. For John, the humiliation is twofold: the personal shame of seeing his family attacked, and the painful awareness that he may not be able to repair the damage done to their public image. This moment has left both John and Abbie standing at a crossroads, struggling not only with the humiliation of the present, but also with the uncertain future that lies ahead. The weight of public scrutiny, family expectations, and personal heartbreak is threatening to tear apart the image they once worked so hard to uphold. When shocking news like this surfaces, the Duggar family's reaction is just as closely watched as the scandal itself. Some siblings have chosen silence, opting not to address the situation publicly. This isn't surprising. Many Duggar children have stepped away from the spotlight, focusing on their own families and distancing themselves from the constant controversies tied to the Duggar name. Their silence speaks volumes, hinting at either discomfort or a desire to avoid adding fuel to the fire. On the other hand, a few siblings have shown quiet but noticeable support for John and Abbie. Whether through subtle social media likes, private messages, or simple public appearances, their gestures suggest that not every Duggar is turning their back on the couple. These small signals of solidarity remind fans that, despite differences, the Duggar children remain bound by complicated ties of family loyalty. Meanwhile, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's stance is more complex. As the family's patriarch and matriarch, they are often seen as protectors of the family's image. In this case, they may be exerting pressure on John and Abbie to maintain composure, keep certain details private, and avoid tarnishing the family's brand any further. Behind closed doors, this pressure can create enormous stress, forcing John and Abbie to balance their personal emotions with the expectations placed on them as part of the Duggar dynasty. The truth is, this is not the first scandal to rock the Duggar household. Over the years, controversies have unfolded, from publicized family feuds to the devastating revelations involving Josh Duggar. Each incident has chipped away at the family's once pristine reputation. Now, with John and Abbie's humiliation making headlines, another layer of scrutiny is added to the Duggar legacy. For critics, it feels like more evidence that the perfect family image was always a fragile facade. And for supporters, it's a painful reminder of how difficult life in the public eye can be, especially when your family name is synonymous with both fame and scandal. This new chapter only deepens the ongoing conversation about whether the Duggars can ever truly escape the cycle of public embarrassment and rebuild their reputation. The humiliation faced by John and Abbie Duggar has not remained a private matter. It has become a public storm. Fans, critics, and the wider media have seized on every detail, turning what might have been a family issue into a spectacle. Social media platforms are filled with commentary, with hashtags trending and countless posts dissecting what went wrong. Some fans expressed disappointment, saying they once looked up to John and Abbie as a shining example of young, faithful marriage within the Duggar family. Others, more critical voices, suggest that this downfall was inevitable given the family's long history of public scrutiny and controversy. The media has amplified the situation, with headlines designed to shock and draw clicks. Articles highlight not only the recent humiliation but also resurface past Duggar scandals, creating a narrative of recurring family secrets and failings. Television segments and online commentary often frame John and Abbie as another chapter in a saga of disappointment, reinforcing the idea that no Duggar can escape the weight of their family's reputation. This cycle of exposure ensures that the couple cannot easily move past the incident, as their story becomes tied to a larger legacy of scandal. One pattern that stands out is the way private struggles often spill into the public domain. Whether through leaked information, family insiders speaking to the press, or relentless online speculation, John and Abbie's ordeal mirrors the same recurring themes of social media leaks and community judgment. What begins as whispers behind closed doors quickly snowballs into viral stories, leaving little room for the couple to protect their dignity or craft their own narrative. This raises the question, can John and Abbie recover their reputation? For some families, scandals fade quickly, replaced by new headlines. But for the Duggars, whose fame is rooted in portraying faith, values, and family unity, the fall from grace feels heavier. Their image was built on being an example of stability and devotion. Now, every photo, every post, and every public appearance is filtered through the lens of this humiliation. Supporters may forgive, but critics are unlikely to forget. The backlash has also put immense strain on their faith, marriage, and parenting. John and Abbie have long spoken about the importance of their faith in guiding them through life's challenges. Yet, when faith is tested under the harsh spotlight of public judgment, resilience is harder to maintain. Their marriage, too, faces pressure, not only from external voices questioning their choices, but also from the personal toll of constant exposure. Parenting in this environment becomes doubly complicated, as they must shield their children from gossip and criticism while trying to model strength and forgiveness. For many, the central question remains whether John and Abbie can find a way to rise above the shame, reclaim their narrative, and rebuild trust with their community. Doing so will not be easy. But in a world where every misstep becomes content, their journey forward will be watched closely, not just by fans, but by an audience waiting to see whether this Duggar couple can truly recover. As this story comes to a close, the humiliation that John and Abbie Duggar have faced will not be forgotten easily. What began as a private struggle has spilled into the public arena, leaving their marriage, their reputation, and their role within the Duggar family under intense scrutiny. Fans and critics alike have dissected every detail, and the fallout has been overwhelming, emotionally, spiritually, and socially. For John and Abbie, the road ahead is uncertain. Will this moment break them apart, or will it serve as a turning point that strengthens their bond? Only time will tell. What is clear is that living under the constant eye of fans, media, and family legacy makes their challenges far heavier than most couples will ever endure. This story is also a reminder of the pressures that come with being a public family like the Duggars. The same spotlight that once brought them fame and admiration now magnifies their struggles, exposing them to judgment at every turn. Humiliation and scandal may fade with time, but the impact on relationships and personal identity often lingers long after headlines move on. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.